They lost again, man. Oh my god! They lost again. The Leafs lose another game 7. What is this? Like the 5th time now? In like 9 years, they lose a game 7. This game's still going on. It's 6-1. Brad Marchand just scored a fucking goal. Sorry, I'm not even one that curses that much, but like this team, these players, oh my, there's some shit on the ice or something, bro. Like, oh my. 9 years of the Matthews, Marner, Nylander era, and they have what? 2 series wins? The furthest they've gotten is 7 wins now this year. This team is full of a bunch of chokers. They never perform when it matters most. You pay these guys all this money, and then when it comes to the playoffs, they don't do shit. Matthews, he scored 9 years in the league, and he has 1 career goal past the first round. How is that even possible? This guy's the highest paid player in the fucking league. What makes him think that he deserves that kind of money? Who are we talking? This isn't fucking McDavid or McKinnon or McCarr or whoever, or Kucherov, whoever. This guy hasn't done shit in this league. Sure, he scored 60 goals. He scored 50 goals. He had, what, 69 goals last year? But when it matters most, when it comes to the playoffs, he doesn't perform. He never performs. It's the same thing with Marner. Marner's my guy, don't get me wrong. But Marner doesn't do shit in the playoffs either. Nylander, sure, here and there, he steps up. This series, he played well in the first, 2 games? And after that, what has he done? He hasn't done shit for the last 4 games. Tavares, you spent $11 million. He was supposed to be the savior, the guy who came home. It was his childhood dream. He had pajamas on and shit. And what did he do? He didn't do shit. Sure, he scored the overtime winner against Tampa that 1 year. But other than that, you think he was worth $11 million a year? You think that money couldn't have been allocated to other areas of the team? The defense this year was actually pretty solid, but giving up 6 goals in Game 7. Woll, I feel bad for Woll. They didn't play him for like 18 games straight or whatever, and then he just comes in cold. He's put in a tough situation. He is a good goalie. He didn't have the best series. He was fantastic in Game 6, don't get me wrong. But like Game 5, Game 7, he just wasn't good enough. Let's be honest. If Stolarz was healthy, which don't even get me started on that. Fucking Bennett elbowing Stolarz in the head, giving him a concussion. 2 years ago, he gave Matthew Knies a choke slam to the ice, slams his head into the ice and gives him a concussion. And he doesn't get suspended or fined for anything. He even punched Brad Marchand last year too. Like, this guy has a history of shit, but for whatever reason, the league sucks his dick and doesn't want to suspend or fine him. Ugh. 9 years of this shit. How Brendan Shanahan still has a job is mind-blowing to me. How does he get the right to fire Kyle Dubas? If Kyle Dubas was fired, then Brendan Shanahan should have been right there behind him. He should have been gone as well. Keefe should have been gone. They all should have been gone. You should have traded Marner when he didn't have this no movement clause. Now you try to trade him for Mikko Rantanen and he gets to block the trade. Well, that's what happens when you give these guys no movement clauses. Why do you pay them to be the top players in the league and also give them no movement clauses just for them to not do shit when they haven't proven shit? They haven't accomplished anything in this league. McKinnon's won a cup. McDavid, he's one of the greatest playoff performers of all time. He's one of the greatest players of all time. You could argue he is the best player. He just hasn't won a cup yet. Those are guys that deserve to be the top paid players in the league, not these fucking bums. They're talking about Marner potentially getting 13 million, 14 million. For what? 14 million for what? 13 million for what? He barely even deserves the 11 million he's getting. What are you talking about 13, 14 million? What? Who's gonna give him that? He doesn't do shit in the playoffs. Game 5, Game 6, Game 7, what does he do? He goes. He never performs. And you're talking about giving him 13 million? If the Leafs give him 13 million, that's an absolute joke. I don't care how good he is. I get that he's a star player, but he doesn't show up in the playoffs. You can't give him that money. If he wants to come here for 9 million, 10 million, sure, okay, fine. You bring him back. But if he's trying to get a pay raise after stinking it up every single year for 9 straight years, that's absolutely ridiculous. Let him walk. I don't give a shit anymore. Try to trade Matthews. I don't give a shit anymore. They're all bums. They don't do shit. This combination of players doesn't work. Why would you keep trying to run it back? It doesn't make sense. It makes no sense. There's a quote like, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. Well, that's what Brendan Shanahan's been doing for 9 years. What is he expecting to change? This group of players doesn't work. It never works. They always go ghost in the playoffs. You spend, 40% of your cap on 4 players, and every year in the playoffs, when it matters most, what happens? They're never able to score goals. That's always their problem. They get shut out. They get 1 goal, 2 goals. They're never able to put together 3, 4, 5 goal games. And they never have the depth scoring. Why? Because 40% of the cap is put into 4 players. Even Morgan Riley, like Morgan Riley's had good playoff performances here and there. This year, he started off pretty good in the Ottawa series. Florida series, I don't know what happened to him. He was a bit of a ghost too. Honestly, I wouldn't be upset if they traded him. Like, I love Morgan Riley. 7 million, 7.5 million, whatever he's on. I feel like it is a bit of an overpay. I don't mind it. I'm not upset about paying that much to Morgan Riley. But I feel like you just gotta blow the whole team up. Like, at this point, like, what's the point? If Marner is leaving, if Tavares is leaving, what's the point? You can have Matthews, but then next year he's just gonna go ghost again. It's not like he's gonna score. What? Now without Marner, he's gonna start performing. One of the best playmakers in the league. Now he's gonna start scoring. No, he's not. He never does. He has 1 goal in now 11 second round games now against Florida. 1 goal. AJ Greer scored just as many goals as him this series. I didn't even know who he was until he scored. That's how shitty he is. He's a bum. And Matthews is, you're comparing them? Who is the bum that scored today? Kamajanovic or something? Who is that guy? Who is he? Is he a forward? Is he a defensive? I don't know. I never heard of this guy. These are the bums that score on the least, but then Matthews, Marner, Nylander, Tavares, they get paid tens of millions of dollars, and they don't score. But then you got 4th liners, 3rd, 7th D, whatever, scoring on the other team. Nick Paul ending their fucking season 2 years ago. Shout out Domi for trying to do something this game. Max Pacioretty was like a goat this playoff run. He was the only guy that had any heart. None of these guys have heart. You know what I think? I think all these guys, they treat it like a job. They're just here for the paycheck. They're not here to actually win. They don't care about winning. They're here to make money and go home to their family, their dogs, whatever. Mitch Marner is always talking about his dog. He has a new kid. I don't give a shit. Yeah, okay, fine, family comes first. I don't give a shit. We're paying you to score goals, to get assists, to get points. And you don't do that. So what are you getting paid for? You don't get paid for shit. You get paid there to do cardio. I do cardio every day. I go to the gym, I go run. I'm not getting paid. But these guys do. What are you talking about? Who do you think we are? And I went to one of these games. I went to, game 5 against Ottawa. And they got shut out in that game too. I was so pissed. I don't blame any of these fans throwing their jerseys on the ice and booing them and shit. At first I was like, no, like you should never boo your team. You should always have their back. You should always support. Give them motivation to want to perform, right? But these bums never perform. You cheer them, they're ass. You boo them, they're ass. You stay silent. This arena is known as like the quietest arena in the entire league. You stay silent, and they're ass. So what's the point? They can't do shit. If Brendan Shanahan has a job tomorrow, this is an absolute joke. He should be gone like right now. You should be filing the papers, whatever you need to do. Tell the media, Chris Johnston, Elliot Friedman, he's fired. We don't want him. I think his contract's even done, but I don't give a shit. It's not like they let Dubas' contract expire. They fired him, and then we didn't have a GM. We didn't have a GM until like the second round of the draft. In a year where Marner's no movement clause was about to kick in right after that draft, but we couldn't trade him because we didn't have a GM. What were they thinking? Brendan Shanahan, what were you thinking? Are you stupid? You're the president of the fucking team. What were you thinking? Did you think that was smart? But yet he still has a job. 2-3 years later? And now Treliving's... I don't think Treliving deserves any blame, honestly. Like, I think some of the trades he made were brilliant. I think the Carlo trade was a really good trade. Scott Laughton, I feel like was a bit of an overpay, if we're being honest, especially because they played him on the 4th line for most of this playoff run. But, like, he is a good player. You have him for $1.5 million next year. McCabe was a Dubas trade. Dubas was amazing at trades, to be honest. Other than the Kadri trade, like, every other trade, I have to say, like, Dubas did pretty good in trades. It was more the signings where he didn't do good, like overpaying all this core 4 bums. Ugh. I don't think I can do this anymore. It's year after 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 year of just failure. And you think that was a lot of years? Well, guess what? I missed one. Another year. It's 9 years. You run it back again, it's going to be 10 years, 11 years, 12 years. You think it's going to change? No, it's not. It never does. They can't score in the playoffs. And I'm sick and tired of watching this shit because all I saw in this game, in the last game, and the game before that was all these like breakout passes to like somebody on the other blue line. And then they just tip it, and it goes back to the other team. It's not like they do shit. They never drive the net. They never go to the corners. They never throw the body. They're all soft. You paid 4 soft players, 40% of your cap, 50% of your cap, whatever it is, to not do shit. They can't score, but then they're also soft on top of that. So what are you exactly paying them for? Tavares isn't this amazing defensive player. He's okay. Nylander isn't this amazing defensive player. He's okay. So if they're not scoring, what are you paying them for? Marner and Matthews, like, they are good defensively, don't get me wrong. But you're paying them to score goals. But they don't do that. Matthew Knies is the only one that I even want back next season. The rest of them can be gone. I don't give a shit. Pacioretty's a free agent. I would want him back, but like, I don't think he's going to be signing for a league minimum deal. Why can we not give him the $2 million or $2.5 million or whatever that he deserves? Because you have 40% of the cap into these fucking bums. Now Marner and Tavares might leave, so maybe that opens up some space. Nick Robertson couldn't even get into any games for whatever reason, even though he at least sparks some energy, gives some effort when he's out there. Bobby McMahon hasn't scored in like 30 games. He could be gone, even though he's on like a really cheap deal. What's the point? He didn't score. Domi at least tried in this playoffs, but like, he can't like drive his own line. Ignore the mess in the background. I was not gonna clean my bed just to do this video. There's some clothes there. I'm in the basement. Leave me alone. I don't even make these types of videos. I rarely do. I mostly make like gaming videos, I guess reactionary videos. I've made a couple videos on Chelsea, who are my favorite soccer team. I've never done anything on the Leafs, but I'm sick of tired of watching these bums play. 9 years of failure. I want them to blow it up. I don't care if we don't have a first round pick next year. There's no point in running it back when you know that these people can't do shit when it matters most. When does it change? When do you admit that you were wrong and change it? We could have had Mikko Rantanen, but because you gave Marner a no movement clause, we weren't able to do that. We weren't able to move Marner for Rantanen. And now they're talking about Marner doesn't enjoy playing in Toronto anymore. He's looking to leave because he's always the scapegoat every year when it comes to the playoffs. Well, no shit, bro. You don't score. You are the scapegoat. You and Matthews, both of you. Marner gets a lot of flack. Matthews is just as bad when it comes to this shit. I feel like he doesn't get as much hate. He started to get it a little bit during this round, but in general, I haven't heard anybody talk about Matthews' playoff performances. Honestly, I don't know what you do with this team. No first round pick next year. Marner's probably gone. Tavares, you could probably bring him back on a cheap deal, or cheaper. I don't know what's cheap to them. That they all care about money. It might be like 7.5 million, something like that. If you can get it less, that's fantastic. But like, I really doubt it. Otherwise, it would have been signed already. Nylander, I mean, you paid him 11.5. Why would you pay him when he's on the hottest run of his entire career? He's never been that type of player. All of a sudden, he's on this 100-point pace. You sign him, and guess what? He slowed down. He went back to his 90-point pace. And then this year, what did he get? Did he even hit 90? I don't know. I don't think he did. You pay these guys all this money for no reason. And because you do that, you have no depth. And then when these bums decide not to score when it matters most, you don't have the depth to balance it out. It happens every year, but you guys keep doing it on repeat, running it back, running it back, running it back. It's got to change. Brendan Shanahan is first. If he's not gone tomorrow, I don't know what's going to happen. It's going to be a riot in the streets probably. I don't know. I'm seeing Matthews doing an interview right now with the reporters. I don't care what he has to say. Nobody cares what he has to say. They got booed off of the ice at home in Game 7. Fans were leaving with 15 minutes left in the game. You got a little bit of hope from Domi to make it 3-1, and then 2 minutes later, not even maybe, you blow it 4-1, 5-1, 6-1. The season's over. The Leafs go out in round 2. This could have been our year. It could have been our year. But every year could have been our year. Are they going to run it back next year? I mean, if they don't fire Shanahan, I would assume they would. But like, all logic points to don't run it back. Let Marner walk. Whatever. Sign Matthew Knies. I don't know what you do with Tavares. Maybe bring him back if it's reasonable. Otherwise, you replace him with like a Sam Bennett or whoever, Brock Nelson, somebody else. You can try to make a trade. You got Easton Cowan waiting in the wings. Maybe he comes up. Maybe he's not a game changer, but like an effective player next year. Your D-core is locked up for all of next year too. Your goalie tandem is locked up. All that needs to change really is your forward core. And it's got to start with the core four. You can't bring them all back. You just can't. At least one of them's got to be gone. Probably two. And it pains me to say that because the two that are probably gone are the Toronto boys. I wouldn't be upset if they try to trade Matthews, but he has a no movement clause. He could just say he wants to go to one team. You don't get any value for him. So what's the point? You just can't do it. He's the highest paid player in the league, and he doesn't do shit. Oh, got another Game 7 loss. This is what, their sixth straight Game 7 loss. And I've been there for all of them. I was a fan in 2013. I was a fan before 2013. I started watching in 2010. I haven't seen any success from this team. It's always been failure after failure after failure. We're talking about 9 straight years. It's not just 9 straight years. It's 20 plus straight years of absolute failure every single year. You get a glimmer of hope in 2022 or 2023, whatever it was, when you beat Tampa. But then you get blown out by Florida. And you get a glimmer of hope this year. You get past Ottawa. You force a Game 7. And then, of course, they rip your heart right back out. They do this every year. I don't know what else to say. It's a joke. I hope they blow this team up. I can't take it anymore. I don't think any of us Leafs fans can take it anymore. I don't care if they're the worst team in the league next year. I don't want these guys back. The only bit of hope that I'm holding out for is that maybe McDavid, for whatever reason, wants to leave Edmonton, even though they're probably going to make back-to-back finals. And they're one of the true contenders in this league. But maybe that he would want to leave Edmonton and come home to Toronto. And maybe he can carry this team to any sort of success, even a conference finals. Because I know damn sure that Matthews isn't going to do that shit. Marner's not going to do that shit. And William Nylander's not going to do that shit. And Tavares, he's just not that level of player. You can trade Riley too. I don't even know if he has a no movement clause. I wouldn't be surprised. He probably does. I bet it kicked in this year. Or maybe at this draft. Because that's just how all this works. They wait too long. And then they sit in their own failure. But that's all that I'm here for. I have no more words. If you like this video, leave a like. Comment down below if you're a Leafs fan. Whatever your thoughts are. Subscribe if you really like this video. And yeah, another Game 7 loss for the Toronto Maple Leafs. Bye.